mix it up like this. Do a round.
Hello and welcome to another video. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make dark garage in the style of Horsepower Productions, inspired by their tracks Gorgon Sound, The Swindle, Fist of Fury, and Classic Deluxe. The project file, samples, and presets are available for a small contribution in the description, although some of the samples I use in the project are available for free, and these will be linked below as well. If you learned something from this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and as always, you can leave your suggestions for future tutorials in the comments. Our BPM is 133, but we're not in a specific key since this style of dark garage has a chromatic, almost jazzy feel. Let's start with the kick. Horsepower Productions utilize busy kick patterns, so this is something that I've looked to replicate. I noticed that in tracks like Gorgon Sound and Fist of Fury, the sub comes from the basses, so I've EQ'd the kick accordingly, removing some sub and thinning out around 150 Hz. Next, we have the perks group. Starting with the rims. Next, we have the snares. And finally, the clap. I noticed an abundance of these types of hits in the Swindle and Fist of Fury, and this creates variety with the tombot of different hits. So this is everything in the perks group. So you can hear that there's a decent amount of layering going on. Reverb is applied to the perks group via Swindle. And for this project, I've selected the empty club preset to reflect the type of spaces that this music is performed in. Next, we have the high perks, starting with the hats. We have these closed hats on triplet 30-second notes. And these are just before the open hats, as you can see. We can see that these hats are in a choke group together. Next, we have the hat and shaker. Again, these are in a choke group. Then we have the tambourine. And finally, the rides. This is everything in the high perks group. Reverb is applied to the group via Swindle. This groove is applied to everything in the drums group and creates the triplety shuffle common in two-step. On the group, we have saturator and glue compressor. And finally, an EQ. Next, we have the basses. This is all the MIDI, and we can see there's a chromatic feel. with this emphasis on one semitone movements, and the bass line feels dark, which contrasts with the other melodic elements. Let's start with this first wob. In Serum, for oscillator A, we have a sine wave taken down by 2 octaves with the FM from B knob activated. Oscillator B is another sine wave with its level taken down, so you only hear the effects of the FM. Then we have a low pass filter with its cutoff modulated by LFO1, which is on envelope mode. There's drive on the filter, and in the effects, we have distortion and an EQ. Next, we have the wobble, also made in Serum. This is similar to the previous patch, but this time LFO1 is on trigger mode with a triplet 1/8 rate, which helps reinforce the groove. The cutoff is modulated bidirectionally, and we can see the distortion and EQ in the effects. Finally, we have the second wob, which is made in massive. We have a square wave taken down by 2 octaves. There's a low pass filter with high resonance, and its cutoff being modulated by envelope 1. The voicing is on mono rotate, and we have some classic tube style distortion in the effects. On the channel, there's a saturator, EQ removing muddiness, and another EQ adding back sub. On the group, there's EQ, parallel compression, and mild sidechaining from the kick.
A mixed job like this. Going round.
Reverb is applied via A. Next, we have the effects group. This effects impact is made in Serum and is the first dubby effect in this project. I'll just play it without the echo. In the noise oscillator, we have the bright white noise, which is running into this low pass filter with its cutoff modulated by LFO1, which is on envelope mode. In the effects, we have hyperdimension, adding width and detuning, and distortion. On the channel, we have echo with high feedback, and this filter, which has its frequency being automated. There's also this amount knob, which has this saw wave shape with a rate of 1/4. Horsepower Productions use dubby echo effects on a wide range of instruments and sounds in tracks like Gorgon Sound, The Swindle, and Fist of Fury. And if you want to create this feel, I'd recommend doing the same. Next, we have the melodic group. Here, I've used mostly sample-based VSTs, whereas Horsepower Productions seem to use traditional sampling techniques, although this may be because of the era they were producing in. If you want to be authentic to their style, then you could look for old orchestra and jazz style samples to put in your tunes. For example, in Classic Deluxe, they used the strings from How Deep Is the Ocean by Frank Sinatra. We'll start with the electric pianos. Here, I've used 3 different presets to help the beat feel more dynamic, almost like a real person is playing. I did something similar in my Bok Bok video. The first piano is this altered E-piano old school preset from Ableton's library. Believe this chord is an A sharp major 7 diminished chord. And if we zoom in, we can see I've taken the notes off the grid and I've altered their individual velocities. This helps humanize the MIDI, and I've done this with the other melodic instruments as well. I've also applied this second groove to the melodic elements. However, I've used a lower velocity as the higher velocity affected the volume of the notes too dramatically. Then we have this second electric piano. Here we have more major 7 diminished chords. This time it's a B. And we're using another preset called E-piano faceplant. There's an echo on the channel. Finally, we have this third electric piano, which is from Labs. Labs is entirely free, and I've linked the packs used in this video in the description. This is from Labs' electric piano library. Here we have some of the previous chords and a C sus2. Again, there's echo on the channel. Next, we have the bells. Again, this is from Labs, specifically the Bell Swarm pack, and the preset is called Glockenspiel Trio. Finally, we have the flute. This is a sample from Free Sounds, and it's available for free in the description, although I did resequence it a little. There's an echo on the channel. The loop felt a bit mechanical without a real instrument played and recorded live, so I felt this was necessary. This is like the more traditional sampling techniques I mentioned earlier. As a bonus, I'd recommend Labs' Synth Strings pack if you want some free strings that fit this genre. On the group, there's drum bus, saturator, a utility, which is making the elements in the group more mono compatible by making them mono below 500 Hz, and an EQ. Reverb is applied via A. Finally, we have the vocals.
You're mixed up like this. We're doing ram.
These vocal samples are available for free in the description. I've pitched the Raz Kitchen vocals around. For example, this one has been pitched up higher.
You're mixed up like this.
Whereas this one is pitched lower to sound more menacing. Every channel in the group has an echo applied. And on this Raz 3 track, I've added some automation to a filter's cutoff. And this creates a more dynamic feel than simply having the delay without the filter. I wanted a mixture of both the Jamaican spoken male vocals and some soul-inspired female vocals. That's what I've gone for here, similar to Gorgon Sound. On the group, there's saturator, parallel compression, EQ, and reverb via A. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.
You're mixed up like this.